This is kbci.blogspot.com, George Boston Rhynes. I'm over in Americus, Georgia. I came over a few weeks ago and I went to the Plains Center. I'm coming to the point wherein I intend to travel more this year than I did last year. I want to keep you informed. I'm over here today because I want to go down to Conania, Georgia. I understand that it has a rich history concerning a man by the name of John Jordan, I believe. And I hadn't heard much about this beautiful white man who may be a little ahead of his time. And so we're going to go through Plains, and then we're going to keep you informed. Once again, there's so much history that has been ignored. Much concerning white African Americans. These are white people that came from Africa. We call them white African Americans, by the way, instead of black African Americans. And there are others who came from various parts of Europe who were sympathetic to the movement and the suffering of blacks and Native Americans. And from what I've gathered, Mr. John Jordan was one of those people. And so we just want to keep you informed because this is what we do. And once again, this is George Boston Rhynes, kbci.blogspot.com in Valdosta, Georgia, by way of Americus, Georgia. Bye-bye, guys. This is George Boston Rhynes, and I'm entering Continental Farms outside of Plains, Georgia. I'm over here because to know what is in our world. Just that simple. Welcome to the Information Center, Boston G.B.R, which means keeping Valdosta citizens informed. And now through YouTube, we're informing the world. Journey with me as I journey with you. I'm George Boston Rhynes, and I'm outside of Plains. This is a sign that says, enter the Continental Farm Community. I'm having trouble with that word. Continental Community. I heard a little bit about this place, but the end of December, I watched a video concerning this community, and I wanted more people in America to know about this outstanding white European man that was a trailblazer on race relations and fairness. Too often we in the Black African American communities, we don't appreciate the mindset of many white European citizens who have been in this struggle for equal rights and justice for all people. In many cases, before some of us even knew what the fight was all about. So I'm over here because it is indeed time for us to know the truth. It's not just good enough anymore for Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindu, and you to just talk about Jesus, Muhammad, and the rest of the great worthies without getting actively involved in your community. We realize that there is a great effort by the few to control, suppress, and abate the many. I remember in 2004, for instance, God allowed me to witness on the second floor of City Hall, leading into the Honorable Judge Edwards' municipal courtroom, an 1860 charter. And that charter read that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other livestock straying at large in Valdosta. The Honorable Mayor John Freddy was our mayor then of the city of Valdosta, a metro city. We had about 3 or 4 blacks on the council. There was whites who saw absolutely nothing wrong with that most great disgraceful charter. Although Valdosta give home to Moody Air Force Base, where blacks and whites, Muslims, Jews, Hindu, and other all must deploy to go fight for this nation on foreign lands. We all should have been concerned about correcting the wrongs of the past. But can you not believe it was reluctantly removed? But it was removed down a vote along party lines. They fought us all the way as I tried to show them that I knew I was correct. And I asked that they removed that sign, and they did. And so today here in Pioneer Farms, this is a great history, and I don't want it lost. So I'm going to be sharing with you our history behind the history. In other words, we want to reveal who's behind the curtain and who do not want you to know the truth, even about white Europeans, that their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren found to be on the right side of history, unlike Lester Maddox, Bull Connors, Governor Wallace, and once again the ex-Handle Governor Lester Maddox here in the state of Georgia. And so we must understand that as we have followers of Martin Luther King Jr., we also have followers of Governor Wallace, Bull Connors, and others that history proved to be on the wrong side of history. And today they are only footnotes at the bottom pages of the annals of history. And so we must come into a new Christianity belief system. We must come into a new Islamic belief system. We must come into a new form of Judaism belief system, wherein all men are respected as equals, where there is no superior Jews, there is no superior Caucasians from the Caucasus Mountains, when there are no superior blacks from Kenya, Nairobi, Johannesburg, that we are all precious in God's sight. And until we can come up to that, we might as well close the doors to our synagogues, close the doors to our masjid, close the doors to our temples, churches, and other places where we go and pretend to follow these great worthies. For to follow the works and the teachings of Jesus means to get away from the Rush Limbaugh, the Glenn Beck mentality, who cannot find one thing right about the 44th president of these United States of America, President Barack Hussein Obama. They pretend and act as if though God made his first mistake by allowing President Barack Obama to be born from his mother's womb, and for the people of America to vote him in as president or in commander-in-chief, and commander-in-chief of our sons and daughters who give their lives and every ounce of blood to defend this great nation. And they defend this nation beyond black and white and Japanese and Chinese and German and Christians and Muslims and Jews and others and atheists. They just come together, join the various branches of our armed forces, and serve with their sweat and blood, and willing to die for all of us. Yet the Rush Limbaughs and the Glenn Becks and the Nia Borks and black female columnist Star Parker can strike out at this commander-in-chief in ways that have never been seen in the history of our beloved nation. When some of the other 43 all-white male presidents denied blacks the right to own a gun, the right to have a family structure, the right to protect themselves, the right to own land, and there was no Tea Party to come out and fight against those haters of American citizens that were of a darker hue. And so we understand when they talk about big government and small government. The black African-American man was fighting and woman was fighting for this country when we didn't have no government to stand up for us. And so I'm here today in Continental Farm outside of Plains, Georgia, to let you know that this is the fulfillment by me trying to spread this message. This is the fulfillment of Jesus the Christ, wherein he said, and I quote, "And ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free." So I'm going to ask you, let's go into the Continental Farms and let's see what's going on in our day and time. Once again, I'm George Boston Rhynes. Stick with me, because I'm going to stick with you. I don't want you deaf, dumb, and blind to the times and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. Let's go for the ride. This is Continental Farms Call to Community and Service, founded 1942. And as I look over up to my left, we see a cross of Calvary representing Jesus the Christ and righteousness and equality for all men. And of course, down beneath, looks like some type of little chapel for prayer. And this is February the 4th, 2013. And I'm George Boston Rhynes, doing what I do, because I do believe that under our form of government, all citizens have a right to know what is going on in their community while they live, and that our history should be maintained for our children and coming generations of children, so they will know what happened in the days of our lives, so they could possibly avoid the secret storm. Bye-bye, we're gone. Oh, by the way, look at that. Look like cows across the street, which means there's still a farm here. Beautiful, isn't it? All right. This is the little farm called Continental Farms, and they are closed, but I will be back because I want to get the history of this. But I have enough to show you and to tell you about this historic area here in Georgia. Too often we overlook the history of our nation, especially here in Georgia. So be informed. Let nobody tell you that your history and the history of this nation is not important. As we study about Russia, Germany, and other areas on God's planet, we definitely need to know what happened right here in the state of Georgia. None of it should be suppressed and controlled, but it should be open for all the world to see. Once again, this is KVCI, which means Keeping Valdosta Citizens Informed, on Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, doing what we do, because if we don't get it done, who else will? Peace.